Hey, this is Cautious Clay. Check out my interview on CreativeDisc.com, the number one music website in Indonesia.
Here we go, the interview. So, okay, Creative Disc, it's me, Luthfi again, and right now I'm with the one of the hottest soul and R&B singer in the town. Please welcome Cautious Clay.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, how you're doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm starting my morning right now. It's 11:12. I guess I got up a couple hours ago, so just been hanging out, you know.
Because right
Beautiful
now
sunny day.
in Indonesia is like like 10 a.m. 10 p.m. Sorry.
10 p.m. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. That makes
So, where
sense.
are you right now?
I am in a small island off the coast of Massachusetts called Martha's Vineyard. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's a
Oh,
little island. I've been here for about 4 days, just decompressing, doing some new music, putting out merch things and vinyls and things like that for the album. So it's been good. It's been good to get away from. I usually am in New York City, so just getting away from the city for a couple days.
like you are like getting away from NYC, NYC business right now.
Exactly. Are you in Jakarta?
Yes, I'm in Jakarta right now.
Nice.
In Jakarta right now is like we've got a maybe we call it semi lockdown again because COVID cases is rising up again. So yeah,
Yeah, I hear
we are
that.
at home right now.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's
So yeah, that's a little bump here.
definitely.
Yes. So let's talk about your new album, Deadpan Love. So tell me more about your debut album.
Yeah, so it's an album that I wrote over the course of the last, I guess, 3 or so years. Some of the songs are 3 years old. Some of them I wrote earlier this year, and it all is just sort of a collection of songs about my identity and who I am as a person, and how important relationships, the different types of relationships in my life, are to me. So, Deadpan and Love are like the two sides of my personality and who I am as a person. Deadpan sort of being this outer layer of like sarcasm and wit, to protect my inner layer of like compassion and empathy, which is the love. So deadpan can sort of have that connotation of kind of like sarcastic or a little bit funny. So it's just the many elements of my personality, I think, coming out in how they relate to the relationships that I have in my life.
So because it's like kind of interesting title. Like I found that word deadpan. So I mean like deadpan is usually called when you go like
When
didn't
you're
happen.
serious, yeah, when you're not,
Yes.
yeah, like serious, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, like not good.
Things like that
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. No, it's true, and I mean, sort of. I had a question, the really good question the other day, and people were like, "Oh, why were you crying on on the front of the album cover?" And the reason that I'm crying is because, well, if you look at my face, it looks like a very deadpan face. Like it looks like very like I look so, like not expressive. But then I have tears on my face, so it's kind of like this, it's representing both sides of the name, So it's funny.
I think it's like make this album so quirky. I think in the
Yeah.
field of soul and R&B album because it's like such a deadpan like you said before why you are crying is because like you are being serious because you are crying but you didn't have you didn't have
I'm being
a right face to say it
exactly.
right.
It's emotional, but I'm not emotional, so it's like this sort of paradox or kind of like thing where it's not yeah, different face for different situation. Yeah.
So tell me the process behind making this album.
So the process was interesting. Mostly, I'm a producer of my own, but then I collaborated with a lot of producers remotely through the quarantine, but also in person before quarantine, and so it was a lot of working in Ableton on my computer at home, and also kind of, and Ableton is like a software to make music. But yeah, working on that and writing a lot. But I actually came up with the title for the album just over a year ago, back in January of 2020, when I was in Thailand. I was in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and I was just riding on the bus, and I was kind of just reflecting on my different emotional states and things like that, and that's kind of where the album was created in some ways, like from the idea perspective, and then from there I sort of collected songs from the past and songs that I'd started to work on, and it eventually evolved into what became Deadpan Love. But the original title actually was a song called Karma and Friends. That was the original title for the album, but I changed it because I felt like Deadpan Love sort of encapsulated the entire album. But Karma and Friends is the title of that, and the meaning of that is really that the friends and the relationships that you have in your life are the most important thing, and they oftentimes determine your mental health, their physical health, all of these things. You know, we're only as good as the people that we relate to, the people that we know, the people that we choose to be with. So it's important too, I guess.
Yes, it is exactly true, because your environment is like can change who you are, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You hang out with like certain people, maybe they don't really care about you, maybe they just want to get something from you, so, or maybe they are, maybe you can relate to them, but they're not your people, they're not the people that you really relate to, so it's like you gotta just find those people, I guess.
Yes, exactly. The right environment will be you to the right mindset, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, do you find you're a little nervous when you're working with big producer on this album? Because you're working with like Tobias Teso Jr., Dan Nigro, Sir Nolan, Jason Shatkin on this debut album. I think when I read the name behind your album, is it like, wow, this is such a big name? Do you feel like a little nervous because this is your debut album?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's interesting because a lot of those names you just said, specifically Dan Nigro, I mean, he obviously worked on the entire Olivia Rodrigo album.
Yes, and it is a big hit.
Huge. And so, but Dan and I know each other. We've known each other before that. So I think it sort of, it was funny because it obviously things took off for him, but I think it initially, he was just a great guy who loved good music, and so we worked together based on just that alone. And I've worked with a lot of big names in the past, like John Mayer and Taylor Swift and John Legend and Ryan Tedder and all these, very big names. So I think, it feels less like a big deal, like not a big deal, but it's my music, so like I just don't really care how big you are or what type of person you are. Like if I like it, I'll work with you, so it's really that simple, but also not that simple. So
Yeah.
it's fun.
So because why I say that question, because this is interesting, because the name that you bring into your debut album is the name that focus on more personal songwriting approach, especially Dan Nigro and Tobias Teso Jr., right?
Yeah.
And it's affect your music, like you like, is it the same frequency as you as a personal songwriting approach maybe?
Yeah, so I brought them in because I knew what they would bring to the table. Tobias Jesso Jr. is an incredible piano player and obviously songwriter too. So it was nice because I had worked with him before. I knew how I could sort of like bring him into the music that I was making. And so that song, Whoa, he actually wrote with me, and it's got this really cool, like almost Wu-Tang Clan style piano part. It's very just like boom boom. It's like, it's very interesting. So I do 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 do. It's just cool. So yeah, I immediately gravitated towards that, and so then I played drums on it, and then we like wrote a song around that whole idea. And so for me, I felt like I executive produced this album because I could sort of bring these different elements of songs and different collaborators together and make it into something that felt cohesive, even though there was a lot of different people involved.
Oof, wow, there's a huge things for you, right? To like making many concepts to one album.
Yeah, no, it's definitely quite a bit of work. So, but it was fun. It was definitely fun, and I really enjoyed that process. I guess it was cool.
So I already heard your album. So I think like it is like very very different from your past release. Like this time on your on this album Deadpan Love, you play more organic this time. Isn't true, or maybe it's just maybe like is it like your approach to be organic this time, or maybe something else?
To be organic. Yeah, yeah. I think I wanted to be organic to a certain extent. Uh, like songs like Wildfire and songs like Spinner, there's just piano and just key, just guitar. It's very simple, very easy to sort of ingest in that way. And I think I wanted to write songs like that because I felt like, you know, at the root of it, I could perform it anywhere. I could do it at any point. I didn't have to hide behind productions. I didn't have to hide behind, you know, bells and whistles and auto tune and whatever. So I wanted to, and I love to use auto tune, by the way, also on the album. So it's just like I wanted to just create different experiences throughout the album where it could feel like sometimes I want it to be very raw and sometimes I want it to be a little more computerized and produced. So, but I think overall there were songs like Wildfire and Spinner that felt like very raw, and I wanted that to be in the album as almost a challenge to myself to say that, you know, I can write a song without having anything else, you know, big happening.
Because you know when I heard Wildfire, I think this is a unique approach for you because you already play with the deep R&B electro sound, and on this Wildfire you played like a Bon Iver, like with its folky and the deep beat. Like, any thoughts about this maybe?
Yeah. I mean, I don't I don't subscribe to, I guess, feeling as though I need to create, you know, a very specific R&B style sound. Like, I don't think that's always, you know, I've had songs that don't subscribe to that sound. So I think I like to have music that way, so I don't feel as though people are putting me in a box. You know, they're not they can sort of hear many different ways that I express myself as an artist, as opposed to just one, you know, kind of, like you're describing it as like a deep R&B kind of sound. So yeah, and I think, you know, that really appeals to me, the idea that I can just, you know, sing a song like Wildfire and people love it, but, you know, that maybe it's not something they would have expected.
Yes, because you know you play like an acoustic guitar and with the folky sound with the deep voice. Like, wow, this is kind of new to me. You've gone through the folk roots, I think, and this is a kind of perfect song.
Yeah, thank you.
So like this is the catch the unique things when I heard a Deadpan Love. So the majority of your song is under 3 minutes. Like, is it any reason behind it?
Yeah, to be honest, like, I don't know. I like to make music that I feel like maybe is succinct. It doesn't waste any time. So I think I just did that because it felt like, okay, like that's the end of the song. Like, I didn't want to force it, and I feel like, yeah, I don't know. It just felt right. It felt like it made sense to each part of the music. But yeah, they are all very short, aren't they? I don't know.
Yes, because I thought that when I heard your album, like it's so fast, like is it kind of like say maybe like my mind like say that like you want to say that I want to talk to you very personal, but I can guarantee this is very quick talk and deep talk, but this is very fast. I think like that because in the era in the music streaming favor the fast music duration, the fast duration. I think like maybe like you want to talk the personal, but you want to make it very fast. So you've got the point to your listener, I think.
That's exactly it. I don't think it matters how long or short it is. It just matters how you can get your point across. And I think that for me, if I can get my point across in under 3 minutes, that's fine. And I don't need to. I mean, I'm not making it a minute long. Maybe it is a minute long, but like High Risk Travel is a minute and 55 seconds. Not because I wanted to make a quick song. I just felt like I didn't have anything else to say, So I'm not gonna like make it longer to I don't know, for no reason. I guess like I would love to make a longer song. Sometimes I just don't know. Like there's some songs I have that are longer, but it's I don't know. I guess I get distracted. So it's hard for me to focus on making something longer unless it's maybe an instrumental song, which can feel kind of fun.
So like I found that you once said that you are optimistic nihilist. So how you came up with that word? Because there are things not close to each other, and I think like optimistic nihilist is like reflected to your debut album, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, Deadpan Love is very much for me that kind of perspective. This kind of like I want to give meaning to things because life is meaningful, not for no other reason than that. Like I want to express those feelings because otherwise what else am I doing here? So I think it's about having that earnest approach to life, even though life is meaningless unless you decide to give it meaning. So we all have to be actively deciding to give our lives meaning. Otherwise, they're as meaningless as we want them to be. So that's really it. It's sort of it's a mindset. It's a mood. It's a way of living, I guess, intentionally.
Like maybe this is the message that you want to convey on this album, right? In this debut album.
Yeah, absolutely.
So your track "Cold War" got sampled by Taylor Swift. How's it feels?
Feels great. It feels great. To be honest, it's cool. I mean, we've never met before, but I assume that she's a fan in some way. So who knows?
Well, like maybe you can tell the story about the process of Cold War being sampled by Taylor Swift. That how you contacted and anything else. Maybe can you share it?
Yeah. So I mean, to be honest, I still don't really know how that happened totally. To be honest with you, but I do know that. Well, I know that Jack Antonoff worked on the song, and Jack Antonoff is. I met him one time very briefly with John Mayer at some sort of, I think we were at the Chateau Marmont or something like that. I can't remember, somewhere in LA. And we met very briefly. I don't even know if he knew who I was, but I assumed at some point that maybe he did know who I was, and then he decided to look into me, or maybe John Mayer told him about me. And, then he decided to tell Taylor Swift about me, and then Taylor Swift liked my song "Cold War," and then the rest is history. But I still don't really know how that all went down. If you were to really ask me, I don't know. It's like it was very much. I was actually on tour at the time. I remember I was in Bergen, Norway. We just played a show in Bergen, Norway, and they called me at 3 a.m. saying that Taylor Swift wants to use my song. So it was like, oh, cool, thanks. Great to know that Taylor is wanting to sample my song. So yeah.
Maybe like it's paved way to you to a bigger stage right now. Maybe I don't know. Like after this, everything's not gonna be the same again, I think.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, I'm curious. I'm curious how things are gonna move on with live shows. But I'm excited. Hopefully, I don't know, getting more open, and hopefully everyone starts to open back up with when the vaccines are out. You know.
Exactly, exactly. So you're writing many songs for another artist such as John Legend, LP, like which I interview
Yeah.
LP 2 months ago.
No way. That's amazing. I love
Yay!
her.
She's great. She's very rock and roll style. She's like still have a rock and roll style in her song. Even he's hit 40 right now.
Oh wow. She turned 40.
Yes.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yay! So what's the difference when you are making songs for you and songs for another people?
To be honest, I guess with making songs for myself, it's really about asking myself what I'm. I kind of just never put a limit on what I do, and so if there's something that I like for whatever reason, I just follow that path. I follow that vision for myself. But for other artists, it sort of depends. It's a little bit more like a pendulum, like it swings back and forth, because some artists have a vision that they want, and you are just there to facilitate that. You're just there to come in and be like, okay, cool, like I see what you want, so let's do that. And then some artists are more like, I don't know what I want, and so you have to literally make it for them, if that makes sense. So it really depends on whatever the artist is kind of going through, or like what they're envisioning for themselves, because sometimes they don't have that, or maybe they do. So it's, you're just there to sort of facilitate things, if that makes sense.
So like, what your kind of process when you're writing the song? Like maybe like you find some inspiration, or maybe like you go to the anywhere, some
Yeah,
places.
it's usually if I'm going somewhere, or if I experience something specific. A good example is a song that I wrote on the album called "Box of Bones," and I wrote that song originally because my girlfriend, who's in medical school,
Oh wow.
she she brought home a box of bones, of human bones, like half of a human skeleton, and I was like, that's so crazy, and it got me thinking about, like what it means to be human, and what it means to be living. And she was doing a lab where she was dissecting humans, or people, because for medical reasons, and I felt like the song "Box of Bones" really, I wanted to encapsulate the idea of the fact that what it feels like to be human. The happy, the sad, the funny, the stupid. Like the silly. So if you listen to that song, it almost sounds like in my head, it's almost like my voice is stacked 1,000, like not 1,000 times, but like a bunch of times, and and I'm just saying, like, don't look at me, I'm in my head, don't want to talk, and it's almost like I'm inside of my head. It's like a song like being inside your own body, and that feeling of what it feels like to be inside of your own body, and yeah, it's definitely kind of the wackier concept on the album, but
That's a
that's yeah.
that's a cool thing. That's a
Yeah.
cool thing that I heard on this week.
Oh yeah, amazing. So glad to hear that.
So, Cautious, in the past you were work as a real estate agent. So, can you tell us a little bit experience when you're working as real estate agent? Because from real estate agent to musicians, like wow.
Yeah, yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot, but to be honest, like I guess I changed jobs because really, I mean, I didn't change jobs. I got fired from my first real estate job, which was crazy. But after that, I had been working on music and found another job in New York, and working in real estate advertising, and I hated it. I really didn't like it, but it paid the bills and allowed me to quit, because I was making enough money to like save up a little bit, And then once I did that, I really just, I really just kind of went for music. I went for it, and I'd actually gotten asked to make beats in Seoul, Korea, actually, for this artist named E Sense.
Wow.
And that was right before Cautious Clay became, I guess, what people know as Cautious Clay. So I was producing album for this artist named E Sense, and that was a crazy experience because then I was like still working in real estate, so it was like this like, oh my god, what's going on? And then I finally quit like the next week after that because I'd sort of felt like, okay, like if people are paying me to go to Korea to make music, like, okay, maybe I should really take this seriously, you know?
Like your leap of faith on that, like, wow.
Yeah, very much.
Such an heartfelt and inspiring story. Well, thank you for telling us, for sharing with me.
Yeah, no problem.
So, Cautious Clay mentioned 5 things we didn't know about you.
Okay. 5 things you didn't know about me. 1, I fractured both of my wrists at the same time in a pole vaulting accident.
Ow.
See these things here? Yeah.
Oh.
Both at the same time. That's 1. 2.
But how is it right now? Is it still getting better or?
Yeah, it's fine. It happened in high school. So
okay.
it's all good. I guess 2, I'm allergic to shrimp. I'm allergic to shellfish. Sadly,
Okay.
so I can't eat that, sadly. 3, I guess I used to sail.
Okay.
Boats. 4, let's see. 4, I can, I don't know. I feel like I don't, like, I'm almost there. Okay. I can do some funny things with my tongue, like where I can make a 4-leaf clover with my tongue. Not like, or 3-leaf clover, I guess. That like. I don't know. That was. Yeah,
I can.
It's like the 3 little prong tongue thing. I don't know. That's 4, and 5. I was on the swim team. I don't know. In high school, I was on the swim team. There we go. That's 5 things that most people definitely didn't know about me.
So my last question is like, do you have any tips for another musician who want to make a deep song and personal song as you are?
Yeah, I think you have to reflect on the feelings that you're having. Like really, like don't try writing a song. Just reflect on the feelings that you're having. You know, and try to describe them to yourself, like in a way where you feel it. You know, you feel something, and you're not trying to do it. You know, like don't try to write a song. I know it sounds dumb, but like just
It's
like,
kind of deadpan, right?
yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Don't try to write a song. Just feel something. Feel something, and then try to describe it to yourself, and then I think, you know, and then I think it's the easiest way to sort of write a song, because then it's like, oh cool, I actually feel this, like, because then you sing it or you write it, and then you're like, okay, it's convincing now, you know. So I think half of writing a good song is making it convincing.
It's like optimistic nihilistic. It's back again from like the mindset, that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much for this interview, Cautious Clay. Thank you very much for the words. Thank you.
No problem.